Hey guys, welcome to About Ukraine, and our little Oreo is very big now. He's like a little goat, and very annoying, and like very big at the same time. You can see he's like as big as a big dog, but also doesn't like to be held anymore. Hey guys, welcome back to About Ukraine, and in this video we're again in sunny Toronto, and the weather is pretty nice. It's not super hot, it's not super sunny, and the topic of today's video is going to be about that very controversial law that Ukraine has passed on the first day of the invasion that prevented Ukrainian men from the ages of 18 to 60 from leaving Ukraine. The thing is, it's a controversial topic because it affected everyone in Ukraine. Women, children, seniors were able to leave, and in many cases they were all separated from their loved ones, from their fathers, from their husbands, from their sons. And men, of course, many are unable to fight, they're not willing to fight, or they just have other things on their mind, like their children, they're taking care of their house or the apartment or some real estate that they have or some business that they have. And the fact that some of them are willing to leave and they want to leave and they can't leave. Anyway, there's a lot of things surrounding this law, and basically we're going to get to the bottom of it and why actually banning men from leaving Ukraine violates some of their human rights. Basically what happened was the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, has invoked martial law on the 24th of February 2022. This law effectively banned men between the ages of 18 to 60 from leaving the country. And because martial law is valid for 30 days and has been extended for 4 times now, it's eventually perpetual law that is enforced indefinitely, I guess, until Ukraine supposedly wins this war. So what is martial law? Essentially, it's military control of certain civilian functions done by the government. Essentially, it overrides many of the decisions made by the government, and it allows the military to make decisions in the interest of national security or the army or the military, which essentially affects day-to-day life of the citizens living in the country. But unfortunately, many Ukrainians are getting tired of it. Many Ukrainians support it, but many Ukrainians are tired of it. There are millions and millions of women and children abroad, and they have not been able to see their families, their fathers, the husbands for a while now. In many cases, these women are not able to work, or if they can work, they make like minuscule amounts of money, and they have to take care of their children as well, which is really difficult. Men, some of them can send their money to their wives, some of them can't. So it's basically it's a case-by-case situation, really. And on the other hand, many men in Ukraine are saying that they cannot fight. They're like going to be useless with a gun. Others are morally against taking up arms, or are physically unfit, or more. What's more, the UN Human Rights Committee has confirmed that the ability not to take up arms is a right protected by the convention. I mean, it makes sense, right? If a man or woman, it doesn't matter who, right? They have a conscience or beliefs or like inclinations or whatever that prevent them from, contributing to killing another human being, right? That can be used as a basis to, reject military service. And the UN Convention says that those that are morally against taking up arms, their rights should be protected. But the Ukrainian government is obviously against this. I mean, they think it's right to suspend or limit some human liberties or some rights in a state of emergency and when it comes to national security. And I mean, the Ukrainian president, Zelensky, actually said that the citizens of Ukraine should stop panicking and go fight. I mean, he reacted pretty negatively to the petition that was out. He commented on it June 10th, saying that the petition to get rid of this ban for men, and there's absolutely no way he's going to relook at this law, reconsider this law, essentially. I mean, there's a case to be made on both sides here. If Ukraine is trying to take a moral high ground against Russian violence, genocide, torture, I mean, if that's the case, then Ukrainians should lift the ban on men leaving the country. I mean, it's legally and ethically wrong to force someone to stay in harm's way when they have a chance to escape. I mean, Zelensky actually tweeted recently saying that fighting for Ukrainian territorial integrity is a responsibility of its people. I mean, I 100% understand this line of thinking, because if all Ukrainian men leave, then there's going to be no one left to fight and protect the country. I mean, after all, Ukraine has about 200,000 active military personnel, 300,000 reservists. And recently, Mikhailo Podolyak, the Ukrainian president's military advisor, He keeps saying that from 100 to 200 men are being killed in Ukraine, Ukrainian soldiers essentially, every single day. I mean, this is right now, and this is a heavy period of fighting right now. If you multiply that by 30, you're looking at 4,500 men being killed every single month. And another development that happened just recently is that Zelensky has signed a decree allowing the territorial defense units to go to front lines. So basically they can go into the front line and participate in active fighting. And remember that the territorial defense units were created. They were mainly just volunteers and people who have no military experience that just went in with civilian clothes and started manning the checkpoints. So I mean, it just sounds to me, I mean, there's no way of hiding it. Like, Ukraine is desperate for soldiers. I mean, just look at what's been happening in the front line over the last few days, right? I mean, Severodonetsk has been a site of active fighting recently, and even though Ukraine took parts over, you know, Russia took parts over, I mean, all of the Donbass right now is pretty much a big war zone. Russia's trying to come from the north, from the Izum south, and from the south they're trying to, you know, get into Zolote, another village there. It doesn't sound too good, really, for Ukraine over there. I mean, it's pretty challenging for Ukraine also because they have to hold out Mykolaiv, which is on the border of Kherson area, and they have to also try to shield Zaporozhye from the similar fate. Let's not forget that Russia also has a 1 million strong army with 2 million of reservists, and looks like they're having no qualms about sending more and more of their men to die in the front. In the end, do I agree with what Zelensky is doing? Somewhat, but can I criticize him for keeping men prisoners in their own country, like citizens of Ukraine, the prisoners in their own countries? Yeah, definitely. I think I can criticize him. I mean, in the end, one can argue it's the government, the Ukrainian government's fault for not foreseeing the threats of Russia, for not preparing the military before the invasion. It's a reactive measure trying to ban people, but there have been no proactive measures to prepare the army, right? What about President Poroshenko and his scandals with his ministers that try to make money on government procurement in the military, for example? There's been lots of scandals over there. Money has been lost, and people have not gone to jail for it. I mean, you can blame it on the multiple generations of Ukrainian leaderships that sold out the national security to the highest bidder. They basically didn't do the right preparations. They didn't invest. They stole the money, right? I mean, why does all of that have to go on the shoulders of the average Ukrainian citizen who already pays taxes, right? He already probably volunteers. He already sends money. The whole world is sending money to Ukraine. So my point is, like I said, I don't think the Ukrainian government pulled its weight on this one. So yeah, like, whatever you may think about the Zelensky, his advisors, the Ukrainian government, the Ukrainian military, the territorial forces, like, it's really on them. It's on the government's shoulders, really. They're the ones that are responsible for the country. They're living off taxes that everyone, 44 million Ukrainians have, you know, paid into the system. What about all the immigrants that left Ukraine? Migrant workers that started living in Poland, there's like millions of them there, and they've all sent money back to Ukraine, right? There was billions of dollars that they sent back. This money has been used in circulation in Ukraine, taxes have been paid on it, right? And for what? And like I said, right now there are people volunteering in Ukraine, there are people sending money in Ukraine, there's billions of dollars being sent to Ukraine. And now the government says to the men of Ukraine, you must give us your time, you must give us your health, you must give us the prime years of your life, and you may also risk losing your life for us. Personally, I think it's a bit too much. Now, I understand that human rights are not individualistic and they never have been. They must really be defended, and it's not fair that one group of people get to uphold them and the other one doesn't. It's not really fair that one group of people gets to put their life on the line to uphold the rights of other people and the future generations, while others do not have to live up to the same standard. But what about the government's responsibility to the societies, to its own people, right? What about what do individuals owe to the society as a whole? I mean, these are loaded questions. I mean, we can stand here all day and all night debating who owes who what, right? But at least I can point out where I believe Zelensky is wrong. I guess my only real argument is that why does this ban on leaving the country doesn't apply to all Ukrainians? Men, women, children, elderly, why? Surely if men who are against fighting can be expected to work as a support worker or work in the healthcare field, surely women and children can do the same thing. Why not? I mean, everyone in the society should do everything in their power to counter Russian invasions and Russian, atrocities, right? To protect their own country. So if one group can leave unscathed and another group's rights are taken away, then what good are these rights? And I mean, most importantly, how does it make the government look? I mean, like, what position does it put all these women and children that have left Ukraine and are scattered across countries and continents, and the pressures that the husbands in the countries face with trying to reunite with their loved ones. All that is separating lives, plans for the future, everything. It just puts everything on hold for everyone. And why? Anyway, I think I've said enough in this video, and probably give you guys something to think about. But yeah, this ban of Ukrainian men leaving Ukraine is enforced, and who knows when it will be lifted. I personally don't think it's going to be lifted anytime soon, because this war is dragging on for a long time, and virtually I think it's safe to say that those that left Ukraine and have family back home, they're going to be stuck in this limbo for a long time. So I think on that note, I'm going to wrap it up, and hope you guys enjoyed this little update on my opinion, my thoughts about Ukraine, and until next time, guys.